Welcome to the Worthy Bitch podcast, the place where we discuss all things self-worth so we can stop living life as a victim and start living life on purpose. My name is Autumn. I'm your host and the creatrix of the Worthy Bitch. I am so excited that you have made the decision to embark on your Worthy Bitch journey. Now let's dive into it. Today I had the opportunity to learn something or to realize, to recognize something about myself that I didn't really think was still an issue or still a thing for me. That thing would be abandonment issues. Oh man. If you clicked on this episode, then you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Abandonment issues. So, I have abandonment issues from my father, and it's something that I've been, receiving help from since I was a little girl, and as an adult, I haven't really dealt with a whole lot, but when I was a child, I was in a lot of therapy, just to kind of keep everything moving through, which I do believe helped immensely, but I'm also a Scorpio, and I also really, hold on to stuff and get really moody and in my head, and it's deep waters, right? Deep stagnant waters. So basically what happened was this morning, it's a Sunday morning, we were sleeping in. We don't usually do that, but it's been such a wild, crazy week, and this coming up week is going to be even busier, and so we wanted to give ourselves some extra rest. And now as I'm saying this out loud, I'm even recognizing even more, my abandonment issues and what just happened. But oftentimes we say the thing that we need to hear the most, and that's part of the reason why I do this. So this morning I woke up, it was about 8:00, Josh was still asleep. Everything, the dogs were still asleep, everybody was still asleep, so I just went back to sleep. Usually we would get up a couple hours before 8, at least be awake, but anyways. So I went back to sleep, then all of a sudden, I woke up to Josh sitting next to me on the bed, fully clothed and ready to walk out the door and telling me he was leaving, and that's something that's a big no-no for me, and he knows that. I don't respond well when that happens, right? Because I think it stems from when I was a child, and my dad would leave in the middle of the night, and we wouldn't see him for weeks. So, that was when he lived with us, of course, and that was for a short time, but then we didn't see him even less, But, so, instantly, I was triggered, instantaneously. I was just oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing this right now. You know how this makes me feel, which obviously he doesn't know how it makes me feel, but I have expressed to him that that's something that bothers me, that I don't feel good when he does that. He's done it one other time or two other times, and I told him no, even as a child, I don't like waking up to people being gone unexpectedly, or walking out the door triggers that feeling, you know what I mean? So I was triggered instantly. I started instantly blaming him, getting pissed off at him. This is all in my head, of course, Scorpio, hold it all in. Because I knew, I kind of knew what was going on, but also I was still letting it play out because I think I needed to see it. Well, I just got out of bed, instantly the energies started flowing through me. I'm a person that likes slow mornings. I like to have my coffee in bed and just relax and talk and, do whatever I need to do and just get ready for my morning mentally in my bed and just, take it easy for a minute. I instantly jumped up, and turned the coffee pot on, and then went to my office and shut the door, and I was just that's basically code for don't mess with me right now. I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, can I use your car? I'm like, oh my God, you're not going to like wake me up with you walking out the door, knowing I don't like that, and then asking me to use my car. Like, you're not doing this right now. I can't think when I wake up. I'm trying to adjust. I couldn't even remember what I had planned today. Like, did I need my car? I don't know. I'm still like winding down from the whole thing, but you can hear the irrationality because I was so triggered, right? But I wasn't recognizing it at first. I did enough to the extent to kind of hold in some of it and not just like freak out on him instantly, which that wouldn't have been nice, because like from his perspective, and I even asked him, I was like, why did you do that? And he was like, well, you just were sleeping so soundly, like I wanted to let you rest, And I mean, duh, like we've both been working our asses off. Like he's just trying to give me as much time to rest as I wanted, or as I needed. But I instantly felt betrayed because I had told him not to do that, and it just triggered the abandonment issues within me, which I guess are still a lot stronger than I knew they were. So I just started kind of sorting through all of this information I was receiving about myself, and at first I was sorting through it in the form of being pissed off. I was really mad at him. And I tell all these relationship stories because, like, one, I do believe I'm in the perfect relationship for me. Like, we are not perfect by any means, but, like, we do work through everything. We communicate very well, and I do feel comfortable enough to share these stories about this. I don't believe that anything that I share is going to hinder our relationship whatsoever. I actually think it strengthens it. Two, I also believe that eventually my scope, after years of experience in relationships, will broaden to, helping people with relationships as well. It's something that my family has struggled with for generations, and I am breaking that cycle, and I would love to share that with others as well eventually once, I become more of a professional in that. But anyways, so I was really getting pissed off and just kind of like playing the blame game, like, how dare he do that? He knows how that makes me feel. Like, I even texted him after he left, and I was just like, did you seriously do that? Like, how that makes me feel. Like, I can't believe that. Like, why, and but it's my thing to deal with, I shouldn't have been triggered by him wanting to let me sleep as long as possible on a Sunday morning when we've both been working our asses off all day, every day. So that's how I finally realized, like, oh my gosh, I am being triggered because of my past abandonment issues, because I kind of took a step back and looked at the situation like, what is going on here? Like, why am I so pissed off? Because honestly, I started feeling like, well, maybe he's not the one for me. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, if he can't respect this about me, maybe he's not the one. And then I was like, whoa, Autumn. Why is it his problem that you have abandonment issues? It's not. It's my problem. It's my opportunity to find a solution to heal that part of myself. He's just mirroring it to me so I could see that it was still there, that needing to be healed. But it's not. There's nothing wrong with the relationship. There's nothing wrong with him because I was able to recognize that about myself. You know what I mean? I'm sure some of you can relate to this in your own relationships, because we tend to get triggered and have reactions instead of responses. I don't know why it's called a trauma response. It should be called a trauma reaction, because it's not a response. It's definitely a reaction. Responses are more thought through and calm, and like, unless it needs to be more energetic for some reason, but it's not a triggered automatic response or automatic reaction. You know what I mean? A reaction is reacting something. Think about that. So I just started kind of like sorting through. Once I realized that it was a trauma reaction from my past, and being like, whoa, there's nothing wrong with the relationship because of this. This is an opportunity for you to heal this, then I started thinking like, okay, well, first I started thinking more and more and more about it just to kind of like really wrap my head around it. And also because I was still kind of stuck in that like blaming him mode. And so I really wanted to like toss those thoughts around in my mind and feel them before I let it turn into like, okay, this is my problem. You know what I mean? Like I kind of had to keep holding on to it for a second. Drinking my coffee. So now it's my opportunity to work on those abandonment issues that I didn't even realize were still that much on the surface, that easily pulled up, that readily available. Like, isn't that crazy? A lot of things that I've thought that I've healed through are still there, and it's my opportunity through self-awareness, recognizing that this is an opportunity instead of letting it spiral me out of control, because I could have very easily gone the alternative route, let this spiral me out of control, be sitting here stewing. And trust me, I considered it. That's my trauma reaction. I considered it to sit here and stew over the fact that he did that this morning and let it ruin my entire day. Sit here and wait for him to get home from giving quotes for jobs to get more contracts to bring more income to our family. And I could have just been sitting here waiting for him to come home and then just like freak out on him and continue to have a fight and just be like pissed off, all because he wanted to let me sleep as long as I could on a Sunday morning. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? And I took so much offense to that, as if I was betrayed and being abandoned, you know? That's how powerful this trauma is. That's why we need to be able to look at it. I heard a lot of people, especially men, I recognize, and I'm not saying all men. I don't know how many men listen to my podcast, but I'm not saying all men by any means. People, but I've just recognized it more in men in my experience, will not want to look at the trauma things. They don't want to see it. They want to somehow apply some sort of medicine to fix it. Like my acupuncturist just wanted to acupuncture through all of the trauma and not ever experience it. But like a lot of times when you're receiving acupuncture, a lot of things are coming to the surface to be seen. It's part of like the chakra system, you know, like our crown, like things come in through our mind, our crown, like we see, you know what I mean? We see it when it comes in, and we need to see it when it goes out. If we are blocking ourselves from seeing it, preventing ourselves from seeing it, then it's going to push it back down, right, into our throat chakra, which is going to do what? Cause us to have reactions, trauma reactions. This is when we freak out. We don't know why necessarily we're freaking out, but we justify it so hard inside of our minds. We're right. But really, if we were to develop more self-awareness through, you know, practices like meditation and yoga and journaling and all sorts of things that help you get to know yourself, even this, like speaking into a voice memo on your phone, that is amazing. You don't have to have a podcast to do that. I have a lot of voice diary messages to myself processing through things that I probably won't ever share, or I won't right now. You know what I mean? It's just a way to process through. It's a way to kind of sort through what's going on inside. But sometimes we get to the point where we justify it so much because we don't know, we don't have that self-awareness developed yet, like a muscle. We haven't strengthened it, we haven't exercised it, we haven't studied it. And then we justify ourselves in our anger, and then we end up finding ourselves in situations that we don't know how we got in, or we are sad about, or we regret the way that we acted, you know, something like that. So that's why self-awareness is so important. So that way we can recognize these moments when we are having trauma reactions, instead of responding accordingly to someone's energy, what they truly mean, and like communicating with them like, okay, this is what they truly mean, and why am I freaking out in this situation when it's something that is nice? You know what I mean? I've had this problem in the past before. I had somebody that I was with in the past order me something at a restaurant. We went to eat, and he ordered me something at a restaurant that I liked, but he didn't like. And when he ordered it for me, I felt so triggered. That was like my worthiness problems coming up too. Like, I really was so upset that he wanted to be nice and order me something that he knew I liked. You know what I mean? Like, as an appetizer, he's like, oh, like, he ordered that. And I looked at him. I was like, why did you order that? He's like, I got it for you because I know you like it. And I was so mad at him. And, now I didn't recognize it in the moment because I hadn't done the work yet. Like, I allowed myself to continue to be mad at him. Part of me still didn't understand why I was mad at him, but I just didn't understand why he was going to order me something that he didn't even enjoy, that he wasn't going to take part in or anything. Like, for some reason, I didn't take that as a nice gesture. Just like when Josh was trying to let me get extra sleep this morning. Like, I didn't take it as a nice gesture because of things I experienced in my past that were causing me to be triggered. But I was responding, right? Because our chakras develop in that order, where like those trauma reactions will come more from like your solar plexus, more from like a couple fingers above your belly button region is where your solar plexus is located. A lot of times you'll feel a lot of energy going on there. That's where your ego lives. This is where you take authority over your life. This is where you decide yes, no, right, left, all of those things. This is where we take action. So a lot of times, and then, our heart chakra is right above that in our chest, and then our throat chakra is above that. So a lot of times it will, we'll just take action without even like recognizing what's going on, because then once it comes through our heart, we feel it. We feel grief, right? We feel pain. We feel hurt from the things that were experienced in the past that are being touched in our solar plexus. Like, hey, it's like it's being poked at. Like, hey, this hurts. Remember, this hurts, and then it comes into our heart and it hurts even more, and then we feel the pain even more, and then it goes through our throat and we react. And then we push it back down because we don't want to look at it. We don't want to see it. We don't want to see ourselves. We don't want to see what we're doing. We don't want to own up to the fact that we're the creators of our own reality. And it's up to us to see what we're doing. Because literally, I don't care what anybody tells you. You're the creator of your own reality. And the life that you're living right now, the way everything, of course, there's always outside circumstances because we live with other humans and things like that as well, and they're creating their own reality too, but you have so much more power than you realize. You have so much more power than you realize to be able to create your own reality. It just takes a little bit of time. I promise, just a little bit of time. Like, it feels like nothing's happening at first, and then it starts to happen, and you start to see it, and then it starts to happen more and more and more. And from what I've heard, that it just starts to like avalanche. But it's just about taking that first step. It's about getting over that first initial, it's like you're driving down one road, and you're trying to get onto another road, and you find like a path that crosses over, but there's no road there. It's just kind of like a gravel dirt road with potholes and all kinds of stuff in it. And it's like, are you willing to take your car off-road into the unknown, into what, like, you don't know what that, it's an unstable, ground in order to get to your other road that is your path? I love metaphors. It's just the way my mind thinks. But this is why we do the work. This is why we develop our self-awareness. I'm looking out my window right now, and there's a giant, our greenhouse is going, or it's really technically a hoop house, but we call it a greenhouse. But it is going crazy. It is literally going crazy. I'm looking, and I have an entire cucumber wall. The cucumber is grown all the way up the wall. It's huge. It's bigger than the wall, and there's a giant cucumber hanging out, like right at the front door. It's pretty cool. Gardening is awesome, and I should do a whole podcast about gardening. But anyways, back to the point. Trauma, reactions, abandonment issues coming up in the relationship, in your current reality, in any situation. It doesn't have to be a relationship. It can be any situation. It could be something as simple as like you freak out on somebody at the grocery store because they're sold out of something that you need, and all of a sudden like you feel like your world is ending. Or you know, you were supposed to go to dinner with somebody and they canceled, and now you are questioning everything about your life. Like, you know what I mean? It's moments like that when something so small has you questioning everything in a way that doesn't feel good, right? That's when we need to take a step back and be like, whoa, because I recognize those energies that were flying through my body where I felt awful. I felt awful. Like, I felt so mad. I felt so hurt. I just felt all the bad feelings going through my body, and I wanted to rub them off on somebody. And who do you think I wanted to rub them off on? Yeah, the person who wanted to let me sleep in this morning because he's nice. Oh, God, that's hilarious. That is hilarious to me. And even when I was processing that, and even when I was having the idea to want to record this, I wasn't fully sure how I was going to bring it full circle because I was still feeling a little frustrated. And I was still not seeing all the benefit out of the opportunity I was just given. That is why I do this. So if I wouldn't have hopped on here to record, which I needed to vocally process this. I have learned that I am a very vocal person. I'm an auditory learner. I learn things through hearing them very well. I hear things a couple times, I pick it up. It's like some people can have a photographic memory and look at something and remember it. Well, like songs, like I remember things from that I hear. It's wild. But well, now I'm stuck on remembering things that I hear, and now I'm like, wait, I needed to process that vocally. But if I wouldn't have done that, I would have sat down and journaled it out, pulled up my computer and started typing or writing. But I used to write in a journal, like actually physically write, until it got to be where the writing was taking up, like it was slow. For the way that things were channeling through me, the writing was too slow. And also I want to be able to share these things too. And so a lot of times I'll hop on my computer and start typing, and I'll write, 4 or 5 page blog post about what's going on, and it will just pour through me because something wants to be seen, and I have to move the energies through in a productive way for it to come out. I could have also done yoga. I could have also gone outside and played with the dogs probably, but honestly, I think that what I needed and what most people need that they're not giving themselves is this part, is this vocally processing part. That's why therapy is so healing, just speaking it out loud. That's why a therapist, a really good therapist or a really good coach doesn't do all the talking. They listen first. They listen for a long time at first, and they ask the right questions, and they let you figure out the answers, because that's when it sticks. That's when it hits home the most. Once you say exactly what you need to hear and it comes through you, people can't tell you nothing. You have to tell yourself. You have to say it, right? That's why we need to do these things. A lot of people want to avoid journaling or speaking out their emotions, and they want to do the more physical things like doing the yoga or going on a run or going to the gym or playing with their dogs or their kids, or distracting themselves physically somehow, distracting themselves by going outside and tending the yard or something like that. And a lot of times, we will feel better after we move that energies out, but we're not healing it because we're refusing to look at it. We're refusing to rework our belief system around it, and that it's going to continue to stay the way it is in our body unless we that's why I do this. That's why I vocally speak about what I am talking, what's going on inside. That way I can see how, just abandonment issues, it's full circle, it looped back around. Now I'm not mad anymore. I'm grateful that I have a man. It was to the point where I was well, maybe he's not the right one because of it, because I was that mad. And then finally loop back around to how grateful I am that he was going to let me sleep for a couple of extra hours. It is so crazy, and just recognizing all of the things about myself, about my past, And I feel totally better now. Whereas, like, 20, 30 minutes ago, I felt like I was gonna explode. Literally, like, explode. So, that's why we do this work. That's why I share this information. I know that there's a lot of people who have destroyed a lot of things that they care about, and then they regret it because of trauma reactions. And it's time to do the work. It's time to develop that self-awareness. If you want to know how to do that, reach out to me. All of my links are in the show notes. We can hop on a call. I do consultation calls where we can see if we're right to work together, or I can do a one-off call. Or we can sign up for a month training of developing your self-awareness, teaching you about yourself and how the things that you do are affecting your life and helping you sort through whatever's going on with you. Like, I'm not just an Ayurveda coach. I help you where you are in your moment. I just use Ayurveda as my main tool, but I have other tools as well. And I have a lifetime of experience of dealing with my own things and my family members' things. I am a product of a divorced, marriage. I'm a child of divorced parents, and I was needed to step into the role of like another parent at a very young age, probably about the age of like 7 or 8 to be exact, and so that helped me see things in a different way because I wasn't just a child. I was more of a partner, and it helped me to really be able to recognize a lot of things that were going on in the family for generations. That's why I'm here to break those bonds. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely reach out to me. Like I said, my links are in the show notes, and I would love to talk to you about this very, very important transformational healing work that we are all here to do. We are all here to raise the vibration of the planet, and it starts with you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to go ahead and start developing your self-awareness through listening to free content about those things, about self-development. I'm so proud of you. I see you. I'm here for you, and I love you. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and rate and share with a friend who needs to hear it. Also, I would love if you could leave me a review on iTunes and take a screenshot and email it over to me at theworthybitch@gmail.com. That's theworthyb_tch@gmail.com. Link is in the show notes, and I will send you a free gift of my 30 affirmations for the doshas that will assist you in your practice to find balance. And as always, I thank you so much for taking this time today to show up for yourself and do the work.